Hey there, this is Jen T. Grace, founder of Publish Your Purpose, and this video is designed to answer all of your questions in regards to the Getting Started for Authors program. So first thing I want to just share just a little bit about me and my background to give you a little more context for how this writing program came to be. And so, as I said, my name is Jen Grace. I am the founder of Publish Your Purpose, and I have over 20 years at this point of marketing experience, which is very much and heavily around content marketing. And for the last 10 years or so, it has been very specifically around books. I am the creator of the Getting Started for Authors writing program that I'm going to share all about in this video. And I'm the author of 7 books. I've written 5 nonfiction books, 1 memoir, and a mental health journal. I'm also a publisher of 150 other people's books, and I've coached a little over 300 aspiring authors at this point. Throughout the writing program, the 2 books that I and my team reference the most are my memoir, which is called House on Fire, and Publish Your Purpose, a step-by-step guide to write, publish, and grow your big idea. The book on the Write, Publish Your Purpose is used heavily as part of the curriculum of this program, which I'm going to get into a lot of detail on in just a few minutes. So a little bit about Publish Your Purpose. We were founded back in 2015, and as I mentioned, we've published closer to 200 books, but definitely over 150 at this point. And this company began with the Getting Started for Authors program. Back in the day, it was only a 14-week program back in 2015, and it was a hybrid of everything you needed to know about how to write your book, as well as everything you needed to know to self-publish your book. And over the years, it has morphed and changed into something that is significantly more comprehensive. It is a 6-month program, and it really covers all of the nuts and bolts of what you need to be successful, specifically from a strategic standpoint, which I'm absolutely going to get into in just a little bit. Really quickly, our mission statement is that Publish Your Purpose is a hybrid publisher of nonfiction books as an LGBTQ and women-owned B Corporation. Our mission is to elevate the voices often excluded from traditional publishing. We intentionally seek out authors and storytellers with diverse backgrounds, life experiences, and unique perspectives to publish books that will make an impact in the world. So if this feels like it is a match for you, please keep on listening. All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this program. So the intention of this program is to really go from whatever idea you have in your head in relation to your book to having a written manuscript on paper within a 6-month period of time. There are a lot of writing programs that are available that will say, write your book in a weekend, or write your book in 30 days, or write and publish your book in 90 days. There's a lot of hype around how do we fast track this process. As I said just a few minutes ago, when this program began back in 2015, it was a 14-week program, and the goal was write your book in 90 days. What we learned over a couple of year period is that 90 days is not enough time to write a book that it was strategically created. So if you're looking for a book that is going to really elevate what you are up to in this world, you need to just give it a little bit more time. And in the grand scheme of things, 6 months is not that long to dedicate to having a really awesome manuscript written. There are plenty of people who've been sitting on an idea for years or even decades. I've had conversations with folks who will say to me that they've been working on and off on something for 30 years. And it's because they're typically lacking structure in order to make that happen. So what we can do is create that structure to help you get that done within a 6-month period of time. So you're not sitting on your dream of becoming a published author for much longer than necessary. So this program is really designed for authors who want to be more strategic with their message and impact, and authors who plan to self-publish, traditionally publish, or hybrid publish. So how you publish your book is not relevant. We have content that speaks to all of the different publishing paths and options throughout the program, but we're really focused on helping you get that manuscript written. And authors who need extra guidance and support to get their manuscripts written. And then finally, for folks who really want to be more efficient with their time, as I was saying, you really don't want to have to sit on your dream because you just can't really get the right structure and parameters around you to really help make this happen in a timely fashion. So if your goal is to, let's say, share your story so others feel seen, heard, and less alone, maybe it's to make a bigger impact in this world. Maybe it's because you want to sell books that change people's lives. You want to grow your business. You want to create more speaking opportunities. You want to use your book as a pillar within your business or professional life. If that's the goal of what you're trying to do, then we really, really, really must be focused on how to strategically accomplish this goal. It is very easy to throw some ideas and thoughts into a Word document, slap a cover on it, and put it on Amazon. But if there's no intentionality behind what you're trying to do with it, who you're trying to impact, what your goal is for you and your reader, then you're really going to be missing the mark, and you're going to feel that kind of anguish on the other side of having put something out there and be sitting and thinking, why is no one buying this book? Or why am I not getting, reviews or testimonials from people saying how much the book has impacted them? You'll be kind of stuck in that wondering and why. And most often the answer to that is because there was no strategy behind it. So we really have to focus on the strategy. So when we think about strategy, there's your book, right? So this program is designed to help you get your book written. But when we think about your book, we want to be thinking about it as the center of your universe. So the other things that orbit this are a business strategy. So if you are already in business and your book aligns with that, great. We can double down on what additionally that looks like. If you do not have a business yet, but you are hoping that this book is a catalyst to get you to a place of being able to strike out on your own and start a business, then that's awesome too. Different strategies, but the strategy is the core of what we're trying to do here. Secondly, we have the marketing strategy component of it. Marketing is one of the most critical pieces of a book strategy. We have to know how to find your readers. But in order to find your readers, we have to know how to write to them, how to speak to them, how to message to them. And we have to really be intentional about that. So when we think about who your target reader is, it's both from an internal standpoint of the person who's going to read the book, but there's also the external component of the person who is going to, how we're going to sell that book to that particular person. And then the last piece of this is the distribution. So how is your book actually getting into the hands of your readers? There's a lot of different potential paths here, and we want to be mindful of all of them. So when we think about a writing program, a lot of times we're thinking about just a very basic, simple, let's get people in a group and just sit and write. And there's absolutely a place for that. Absolutely. However, if you really want to take what you're up to the next level, to really think about from a strategic standpoint, what this book is going to do for you, what it's going to do for your business, what it's going to do for your professional life, what it's going to do for your readers, then this is going to be the program that's going to help you get there. So when we think about the program, we're going to talk about kind of the bones and the structure of the program, because you're either watching this video because someone sent it to you or because you're on our page and looking for more information about what this program looks like. There are so many moving pieces and parts and details to this program that it's hard to actually just capture those in words. And so that is the intention of this video. So I'm going to spend the next little bit going through all of the support that is provided from this program. So first of all here, 6 months. So we're going to spend 6 months together. And in that 6 months of time, we're going to have 26 writing strategy sessions. We're going to have 26 book strategy sessions. That's marketing and business, distribution, all the things that kind of orbit the book. We're going to have peer review and writing feedback. We're going to have ongoing support and access to myself and my team. So what we're looking at already is that we're at 64 times that we're going to meet over a 6-month period to just make sure that your book is truly the best representation of you, your professional brand, your personal brand, you as a person. I will get into what I mean in terms of the writing strategy sessions and the book strategy sessions in just a little bit. But what I want to focus on right now is the ongoing support and what I mean by that. So while we're in the program together, you're going to have those 64 times that we're meeting in 6 months. And the intention behind that is to really make sure that you have every ounce of support you need to get this done. We don't want you just kind of floating in the dark and not really know what to do. We want to really make sure that we are in it with you. Now, beyond the time that we're together, you're going to have access to our book marketing expert series. We do this monthly. It is for people who are working with us. And this is when I bring in outside experts who have some expertise around marketing, most of the time through the lens of books. We just recently had some come in and talk about how to elevate your LinkedIn presence in order to align it with the fact that you're an author or a forthcoming author. Or we've had folks talk about websites. We've had people talk about social media. We've talked about book launch strategies. There's just lots of conversation here. And this is available to you while we're together in the 6 months, which sometimes it might be a little bit hard to balance where you're like, wow, I'm really working hard on this manuscript. I don't want to focus on this right now. That's perfectly fine. We have a content library that has all of these videos available to you at your leisure. However, after we're done together in the 6 months, you still have access to these book marketing expert series because now you're part of the PYP family. And as part of the PYP family, our goal is to really do whatever we can to help ensure your success. So we encourage you to, continue to participate in all of these conversations for as long as you would like. We have had these touch points with our authors for years, and people who've launched 5 years ago still pop in routinely to get new information on how to launch their books and how to market their books. And, whether it's that the book came out 5 years ago or it's going to come out next year, either way, no matter what direction you're coming from, there's going to be a lot of good content to help you. The other thing that's available is access to my personal office hours. I also do this monthly. And in these office hours, the intention here is for me to have a touch point with you. Because as part of the Getting Started for Authors program, you are working with my incredible team of facilitators and editors, and I am not a day-to-day part of this program. You will hear my voice a lot because the videos and all of the curriculum that is used in this program I have created. And so you will definitely hear a lot of my voice. However, it will not be live. So when we think about I want to have a relationship with you still, is that you can come and attend my office hours throughout the 6 months and beyond the 6 months. It's the same scenario where, it could be 3 years from now and you still have access to these office hours. And you can come and you can ask me any question you could possibly imagine. There is absolutely nothing that is off limits. We can talk about what your publishing looks like. We can talk about your roadblocks or challenges that you might be having in the writing. We can talk about how to market your book or promote your book. The opportunities are absolutely endless. And to me, this is self-serving for me, in all honesty, because it gives me that touch point, because I'm just a people person and I just really want to get to know you more and really want to know what you're up to. And then it's great for you because then you have access to having your questions answered after the program ends and even after your book is published. Regardless of how your book is published, you still have that access point, because what we have seen repeatedly is when your book comes out, a lot of times it's hard to get answers to your questions. The internet is an amazing tool. You can certainly go check out Google and see what you can find. But the problem with publishing specifically is that there's so many different opinions and competing information that it can be really hard to know what makes sense for you personally. And so when we struggle to know what works for you personally, then it's just a struggle across the board. So if you can bring whatever you're struggling with or whatever you want to celebrate to these office hours, I, within just a couple of minutes, can help figure out how to get you back on track and push you in the right direction. So that way you don't have to spend, endless hours searching the Google rabbit hole and not really coming up with anything conclusive. So the program is for 6 authors only. We only take 6 people in a cohort at a time. So it really is limited. Again, if we're looking at other writing programs where, say there's, 70 or 80 people on a Zoom and, we're trying to make things happen and get things done, the support is just not there when we have a large volume of people. And so our focus is 6. We have learned over the years that 6 is the magic number. And so, certainly if this sounds interesting to you, you can check out the dates that are on the website. You can enroll right away, can keep it real simple, real easy. But if you want to continue to see what is included in the program, just keep on watching. So what is included here? Here's just a couple of like bonuses, if you will. So a personally signed full color special edition copy of my book is included with every participant because, as I mentioned, we use this book as part of the curriculum for the program. And also the book was designed very intentionally to help people really understand how to write, publish, and grow their big idea, as the subtitle suggests. But beyond that, I wrote and designed and created this book in a way to be an example and a blueprint for exactly how you can do the same thing. And so we like to just include it as part of what we do, because then you can, as you're, having a conversation in week 13, it might come up that, hey, check out chapter 8 of the book and take a look at the call to action, which you might not even know what that is yet, but you will. And so the book is just a really good live tool and example for what your book can look like. So we include that right as part of the program. The other thing is that there is a writing program called Scrivener. It is an alternative to using a Word document, Pages, Google, whatever program you might be using to write your manuscript. There are endless benefits to this program that I will not spend time on, but it is a $60 program, and we include that as part of the tuition because I have written, I think, actually it might be, no, it's not quite all of my books. I want to say it's at least the last 4 of my books. I know for a fact I wrote in this program. It is a game changer. Even if you take nothing else from this video right now and just go get yourself a copy of Scrivener, you will automatically already be ahead of the game. The challenge with Scrivener is that there is a significant learning curve to knowing how to use the program. And so we have a lot of videos and resources and, troubleshooting and things like that to help you really make the most out of it. But it will absolutely change the way you think about your manuscript and write. So instead of hemming and hawing of like, oh, do I want to spend another $60 on the program? We just include it. All right, documents, and more documents. At Publisher Purpose, we are very heavily focused on efficiency, on systems, and on processes. As a result, there is pretty much nothing you can ask that we don't have some kind of material on that will help answer that question. So included in this program, one example, like a specific example, is that we have a progress tracker spreadsheet, and this helps track your progress, as it indicates in the title, how much progress you're making along within this writing program. And then, when you're writing independently, we have videos, worksheets, blueprints, guides, resource lists, examples, templates, truly everything you can think of. And I'm going to say nearly everything you can think of. We have some kind of guide or document around because we are about efficiency. So if you're asking questions about pre-orders, as an example, which I'm going to get into the program curriculum in a few minutes, that's part of the curriculum. If you want to see a template or an example or have something to copy and paste to be able to use it on your own, we have that information in those materials for you. We have a content library that is accessible to all of our students, and you can log in and you can find hundreds of different materials that will help support you on your writing journey. Because again, this program is designed to help you write your manuscript, but it's writing it strategically. And the strategy component is the marketing of it. It is the distribution of it. It is how does this tie into what you are up to in the world. And in order to do that, you have to understand a lot of other nuances and factors to how the systems work, basically, how the industry works, and how the promotion of your book works. And so that's where we have all these opportunities to provide additional information to you that's going to help make that more clear, and then you can make more informed decisions. All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what the program includes on a week-to-week basis. I want you to really understand what is going into this program. So I'm going to start off with the strategy sessions, which is going to take about 3 slides, and then the writing session, which is 1 slide. So over the 6 months together, these are all of the topics and areas of information that we are going to cover. It is very intentionally and sequentially laid out to provide you everything that you need to know to really make sure that you are doing this strategically. So a couple of examples from this slide, I encourage you to pause, kind of look into it further. is, what's the purpose, the vision, and the impact of what you're trying to do? What are your goals, whether it's personal, professional, business? What does that look like? How do we get in the right mindset? How do we have the right support system? How do you know how long your book should be? And what do you even do before you even start writing? These are all really, really important pieces of information that are going to help whatever comes out of your fingertips writing at the keyboard. Whatever comes out is going to be much more refined and much more laser focused than if you were a little bit floating about on your own and not really sure where to begin or how to begin. Which is why the program is called Getting Started for Authors, because the point is to get started. So the additional pieces that we're covering, we're going to talk about writing an outline. Like, how do we create an outline using Scrivener, as I mentioned? Adding ease to your writing process. How do we use new and existing content? Like, what do we do with that? Especially if you have a lot of content already. How do you use that in a manuscript? Let's, talk about how to tell stories in a compelling way. We talk about personal branding. We talk about the repurposing of the existing content. Facilitator storytelling examples. And then student storytelling spotlights. So having an opportunity to really hone in on what you're doing really well from a storytelling standpoint and where there might be some areas to improve. And then the final slide is, what content goes into the front and back of your book. We do an outline review. So we're doing spotlights on your outline. And we do this, we talk about your outline in the beginning and then we talk about it again in the middle just to make sure you're still on track with what you intended. A lot of times what you think you came here to write and what you end up writing are a little bit different. And that's okay. It's part of the process. We talk about calls to action, which is, how do we get the readers out of your book and into your world in some other way, whether it's a mailing list or following you on social. Everything you need to know about editing, things like your title and subtitle, which are a critical part of the process. How to find a book cover designer, how to pre-order and crowdfund for your book. And then, what are you doing? What's the next step once you're out of this program? And then recalibrating, adding some ease back into your writing process. What routine you thought worked at the beginning might not work in the middle and might not work in the end. So we have to recalibrate every now and then. So this is all of the stuff related to strategy. So I believe I said there was 3 slides. There's actually 4 for strategy. So then there's the distribution piece that I was mentioning before. What you need to know about publishing, how to avoid scams and people censoring what you're working on, trying to find the right publishing path for you. How do you pick? What do you ask a publisher? How much does it cost? What's the timeline? And then planning your next steps beyond this program. So as you can see, it's incredibly, incredibly comprehensive because it's not just a writing program. It is a program designed to elevate your manuscript to the absolute next level and give you everything you need to know to just really impact people with your book. Because for me, I named this company Publish Your Purpose because it's bigger than just publishing a book. It's publishing your purpose. And what your purpose looks like might be different than mine. It might be different than the next person. But the goal is to elevate what you're doing so your book actually makes an impact. The last thing I want is for you to publish a book and then have boxes in a garage or a storage unit or in, under your desk in your office that aren't doing anything and just collecting dust. That is the exact opposite of what we're looking for. But in order for that to not be the case, we have to be thinking, how do we do this strategically? So let's talk about what is included in the writing sessions. And this all fits on the same page because you have dozens of writing sessions within this program. They all follow a very similar format. So the strategy sessions that you have each week are always on the same day and the same time. And those sessions will be covering all of the slide content that I just talked about. And then the other session during the week is a writing session. And so in each of these writing sessions, you'll have an opportunity for your pages to be reviewed by a developmental editor, a program facilitator, and your peers. So when we talk about pages being submitted, we have specific criteria around what we're asking you to submit. And when you submit it, it is going to be a developmental editor who's a facilitator of ours, the program facilitator who's facilitating the strategy sessions, and your peers who are all providing input on how to make your manuscript better. The goal for this is giving you better clarity on what you're writing in real time. This will save you time and money in editing later down the road because There's some expression, and pardon my butchering it. It is definitely part of my personality is that I like to butcher expressions, but it's something to the effect of, if you are shooting for the moon and you're 1 degree off, you're going to end up in a different planet. And that's really very much true with writing a manuscript. If you are writing a manuscript that you didn't really think through, you're writing it without a lot of clarity, it is going to be a much heavier lift down the road, and it's going to be more costly and more time consuming to kind of fix all of those edits later, rather than having real concrete epic clarity at the start and being able to write in real time and get feedback in real time. So that way you can save that money, time, and heartache a little bit further down the road. So at the end of the program, the goal is for you to have a manuscript that is ready for the publishing process. To also understand the publishing process and know if you want to self-publish, hybrid publish, traditionally publish, whatever path you want to go on, you'll have a better sense on what path makes sense for you. You'll have all of the resources and connections to self-publish if that is your path. I have a lot of just personal friends in this industry, and we are a hybrid publisher, which means that we are to me, it's kind of the best of both worlds between traditional publishing and then self-publishing. But if you want to go out on your own and have all the control, all the ownership, everything that self-publishing provides, I have connections and people that I will connect you with to make sure that you're having a good experience. And then you'll also have the relationship with us. So if you decide that you want to publish with us, great. However, it is absolutely not a requirement for that to happen. We really want what is in your best interest, and we're going to help you figure out what that is. So the meeting times for the program are listed on the website. So please check the website for the most up-to-date days and times. And because you're watching this video, again, however you've arrived on this video, there is a $500 coupon code, and it is the code that is on the screen. So it's secret-website-code. It's not really secret, but you would be surprised at how many people will watch a video this far in. And because you've watched this video this far in, I definitely want to make sure that you are rewarded with a nice little bonus. So you can save $500 by using this code on the website. So let's talk about alternative options quickly of what does the landscape look like for writing support type of help? And I am comparing our program to more in alignment with kind of ghostwriting. We are not ghostwriting for you, but we are helping you in real time make this better. And so sometimes people are looking at hiring a ghostwriter. I have at least 6 ghostwriters that I know and I refer to on a regular basis. Their fees range quite dramatically. The lowest end is about $25,000, and then the highest end is $125,000. So if you want to outsource the entire project and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to hand this over to a ghostwriter, you're looking at somewhere between $25,000 and up, 25 to at least $100,000. That is definitely a lot. If you want to take somewhat of a hybrid ghostwriting approach, that's going to cost you almost $20,000. And that might be a scenario where you're kind of talking your book out loud to somebody else. Maybe there's transcripts involved, things like that. That's going to put you, I would say, I have up to 20,000 here. It's probably going to be at least 10,000, at minimum 10,000. And then there's still a lot of work. And then you can work with a writing coach. We know that the industry average is about $200 an hour, and our individual coaching is about $600 an hour. So when we look at the totality of just kind of all of these different prices, it's really just a matter of looking at what is going to make sense for you, because you might say, you know what? I don't want to have the commitment of being in a program for 6 months. I just want to, I want to work with a writing coach and do it faster, or I want to do a hybrid ghostwriting scenario. We can help in both of those ways. So if that's interesting to you, of course, feel free to reach out. I am personally a fan of the group format, specifically because of the diversity of thought. The people who show up in the group are really committed, and a safe space has been created to really just explore your story and your topic and the wisdom from other people in the group, in addition to the experts who are there for you. It's the wisdom of others that I think is really, in my opinion, the magic of all of this. And so that's why I'm a big fan of the group format, even though we could certainly help you with all of these other formats. Now, the investment is typically $1,199 a month for 6 months. With that $500 discount that I mentioned, it brings it down to $1,115.67 for the 6 months. Now, if you want to save another 20%, you can pay in full. So our pay in full option is $59.97. However, if you are using that discount code, it actually brings you down to $54.97. So it really goes, it saves almost $2,000 by doing the pay in full and with this secret website code. So just kind of throwing that out there as just some solid options here. So we're looking at about $5,500 versus $10, $20, upwards of $100,000 for all of the other type of writing support that is out there. All right. If you have any questions about this program, feel free to please reach out. This is my actual email address on the screen. And if you head over to meetwithjen.com, there will be an option to schedule time for a writing consult. Feel free to use that link and hop on a call. I definitely want to make sure that this program feels right for you. So if it feels right for you and the times work, please go ahead and register and then send me an email. Obviously, I'll see when your registration comes in and I will reach out to you as well. And if you are just a little bit on the fence and you're not 100% if it makes sense to join this program now, please use that scheduling link and book some time with me and we'll talk about it and we'll see if it makes sense for you. And if it does, amazing. And if it doesn't, then I will do what I can to help push you in the right direction. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope to work with you soon.